paper thing. Today with a black background as I continue to work on the new background for the show. So yes, though I promised it would be here today, unfortunately it's not. So it's this temporary black void that I broadcast to you from. Got to do two things almost simultaneously. I need to open the so I need to prep the all right, here we go. Down, boom. And extract all. Yeah, here we go. There are the papers. And the second thing I need to do is share the tweet in the Discord. What a life. What a life. Drugs are better. Drugs are better with friends are better. Friends are better with drugs are better. Drugs are better with friends. Hello, Markinosis, free Cambrian Mandarin, indeed. Although that is yesterday's paper. Here we go. Right, let me get today's paper chucked up. Okay, we're going to start with the sun, because, you know, why not? How you doing, Mark? Hope you're having a good day. It's just started pissing it with rain here, but I've already been outside for the day, so whoopee-doo. You'll notice that I have yet to develop the Season 4 background, so we're on this temporary back in black arrangement until that is... No, we're not starting with the sun. What am I saying? That's yesterday. Hey, good afternoon, Yodi Stomach Pump. As I was just mentioning, I have actually not finished the new background yet, so we're in this temporary black void. We're going to start with The Guardian. We've got The Guardian, The Times, and The Daily Mail today. I appreciate The Guardian is never particularly thrilling, but, you know, Markinosis, I'm good. Got my subscription confirmation 14 times. Turns out actions taken during the stream have real-world consequences. Excellent. Good. Well, tomorrow's magazine review will be Empire. And also possibly Monocle if I can face it. Consumed by the void. Indeed, I have been consumed by the void. Right, let's get it. I'm going to take a slurp of this kombucha. Get me. Which is friggin' delicious. And then get on to... You can see my... jigsaw in the background, which is still very much only partially started, is a Cold War Steve jigsaw, which I got for my birthday. Right, so The Guardian front page has Puppy Love Britain inside the pandemic craze, fighting back people who choose romance over work. These are feature trails at the top of the page. Hello, Industrial Pet. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Yoda Stomp Pump. Good afternoon, of course, to Mark Kanosis. Top of the page story. Watchdog warns requirement for COVID passports may be unlawful. This is the Equality and Human Rights Commission in advice to the government seen by The Guardian. Why was it seen by The Guardian, you may say? Well, because someone at the Equality and Human Rights Commission wanted to make sure that it was. I'll move these tea towels out of the way because they're sort of annoying me. Right. Okay, elsewhere on the page, land grab analysis shows scale of Dubai ruler's UK portfolio. Good that they got a picture of him in a top hat there. Greensill MPs reject lobbying inquiry. Surprise, surprise there. Yes, the floppy dog behind me is a soft toy from person in the room's childhood. His name is Bocals Cocals. He's a cool dude. Other story on the front page, Biden ends longest war with troop exit. Inside, ministers too cozy with business to act on climate. Surprise, surprise. Bernie Madoff, the Wall Street swindler behind an £18 billion scam, dies in prison at age 82. I reckon, I've never seen Bocals Cocals written down, but I think that's probably how you spell it. He's named after, well, the reverse of a tree stump that person in the room named when she was a child, which was called Cocals Bocals. So there you go. Children. Yeah, no, he's good. He recently had a new nose added because his nose had gone. Yeah, and he was sewn up, so now he lives on the top of that chair. Right. Greensill, Tory MPs vote en masse against inquiry into lobbying scandal. Yep, they do not want that dug into deeply. John Crace's sketch is terrible, so we're not even going to bother with that. Just like riding a bike, flight secrets of gangly petrosaur discovered. It's kind of insult we go for here. You fucking gangly petrosaur. There you go. I'm just going to drop the Bocals Cocals and Daniela Westbrook. Yes, both recipients of new noses. There we go. That just takes the shine off my face. Right. Page 9. Good Neighbours. TV soap hit by new claims of on-set racism. The award-winning, much-loved TV soap opera Neighbours has been hit by a fresh controversy, with a long-standing cast member claiming she endured direct, indirect, and casual racism on set, including racial slurs and mockery, and describes the past 4 years as painful and problematic. In a detailed 1,500-word statement posted on her website, Sharon Johal said she tried to deny, bury, and ultimately survive racist taunts allegedly from some of her colleagues. She also claimed that the television show's production company, Fremantle Media, failed to take any effective action to rein in the alleged behaviour and left her feeling powerless, isolated, and marginalised. Her accusations follow last week's claims by the Indigenous actor Shireen Clanton of racism on the Neighbours set and allegations from the British actor Nicola Charles about two of her castmates once tried to get her deported back to the UK. Jesus. Right, the door just went. I will be back in a second. Hey everybody, and it's something for the stream, because on next week I will be reviewing and talking about, on an evening stream, Alan Duncan's Diaries. In the thick of it, Private Diaries of a Minister, so that's just arrived. Okay, so yeah, Australia pretty still racist is the top line on that story. EHRC says use of COVID passports could be unlawful discrimination. Yeah, no, don't. No, the coin has not come yet. No way is it actually called In the Thick of It. Yeah, imagine. Hey, Studying Fangirl, good to see you. Make it a double. Drink sales at pubs up 113% on first day back. They report bumper business for charity shops on reopening. DUP leader tells court of distress at celebrities' doctors. False claim of infidelity. Christian Jessen, the TV doctor, had tweeted what was described in court as an unsubstantiated rumour of an extramarital relationship. Arlene Foster told the High Court yesterday that it was a personal attack seeking to destabilise her at a politically fraught moment. The court heard that Jessen, a presenter on the Channel 4 show Embarrassing Bodies, posted the initial tweet 23rd of December 2019. It was retweeted more than 500 times, and the court heard that he had followed it up with other aggravating tweets. He had more than 300,000 Twitter followers, the court heard. After complaints from Foster, Jessen deleted the original tweet in January 2020, but did not apologise. The court was told 13 emails and letters to him went unanswered. He was not represented in court. Foster said the allegation came while she was involved in talks of reviring blah blah blah. Court heard that Jessen's tweet had referred to Foster as the sanctity of marriage preaching woman, a reference to the DUP's opposition to same-sex marriage. It always comes back to bite them on the arse in the end, he continued. Foster told the court that she was not homophobic and said, I do get distressed when people call me a homophobe because that's sometimes something I am not. Well, I have many friends who are homosexual, she says. They know my views on same-sex marriage, and in any event, same-sex marriage is now the law here in Northern Ireland and has to be upheld. Right, there we go. Dr. Christine and Arlene Foster can fight to the death, in my opinion. Yeah. Arlene, Irish, deserved the famine. Foster, yeah. We are all living in the extended Simon Hedges universe. Isn't that book about Change UK, the independence group? No, he's the guy who was a foreign office minister, and basically it's just a book full of him slagging off other Tories. So yeah, blue on blue. Component of magic mushrooms may help treatment for depression. This is people have said this for a long time that psilocybin has a role in treating this kind of stuff. Certainly people have said it for years. Red Tixie, yeah, I know exactly, as some of my best friends are. Is typical, you know. Conrad Wolfie, well, if pubs were closed, any number of sales is 100% increase. No, but I think what they're saying is that it's an increase on, you know, the last time they were open and whatever. Foxtons faces shareholder anger over CEO huge bonus in furlough aid year. Imagine what you think the CEO of Foxtons looks like, and yeah, you're correct. He does look like it. Well, Tara writes, the current stream aesthetic is just temporary. Tomorrow I will be unveiling the new background for season 4. We're going down the dark timeline in season 4. Beautiful picture of a pair of wolves over a story that says, study says only 3% of land has native animals and habitat intact. Reintroducing species such as wolves to control deer and elk numbers could restore habitat, say scientists. There's a big picture of a pair of guys on horseback in South Africa. Reintroduce the bears, cowards, says Mark Kenosis. Agreed. Yeah, big wild woofers, love them. In the journal, Afua Hirsch says, we can mourn Prince Philip, but not the monarchy. How about we mourn neither? Martin Kessel says, the message to Scots, the union isn't based on consent now. George Monbiot says, how I became a long COVID super spreader. Quite a good cartoon based on Greensill Cameron and MBS in the desert. The long read story comes from the actually very good Sirin Kale, who writes, in 2019, the body of a man dropped from a passenger plane into a garden in South London. Who was he? Headline for that story, out of thin air. It's... yeah, 3 quite big pages there on that. In G2, Megan Nolan writes, why talk to your date when you can smell them? Danny Houston reflects on his father, John Houston, and sister, Angelica. Yeah, Megan Nolan's column says, is everyone really so awful, or have we forgotten how to trust? And dating is back, just don't ask me what I've been reading. There's a pass notes thing on lockdown here. Mine's still in full effect. Is your job keeping you single? Long hours are making it hard for many people to have a life outside work and almost impossible for some to sustain a relationship. It's time to fight back, writes Sarah Jaffe. I can't afford my rent. I have no savings, no partner. I'm 38 and my friends have families. We were working illegal hours most of the time. Most of my time was spent just sleeping. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this comes back to like when boomers say, "Well, why aren't you married? Why aren't you got a house?" Slinkermeyer, I did find out the cocaine bear from the 80s was stuffed and sold to Waylon Jennings. In Jesus. Mark Kenosis, that's an amazing fact. That smell your date stuff is always pseudo-scientific novelty and never the darkroom perviness it should be. Yeah. Guardian, what research paper have we not mentioned in a couple of weeks? Yep. People forget dogs are animals. Just some good pictures of dogs. Dogs. I would go around the world with my father and make his drinks. Danny Houston has Hollywood in his blood. The actor tells Hadley Freeman. why he's stepping into his father John's shoes again to direct a film about grief, secrets, and the Lockerbie bombing. You'll probably recognise him from lots of places. He appears in a lot of stuff. Everyone is awful. Agreed. Studying fangirl. Conrad Wolfie, The Guardian, noticing that late-stage capitalism in the West is following the Japan model where no one has enough time to do anything and just works themselves to death and gets pissed at weekend. Yep. In the TV reviews, Ellen E. Jones, who was also actually fairly decent, reviews Dobbs' Dad Stop Embarrassing Me on Netflix. She says Jamie Foxx embarrasses himself, but in all the wrong ways. And the recommendation in the TV today is Frank of Ireland. Brothers Brian and Donald Gleeson co-write and star in this offbeat comedy about best friends Frank and Doofus navigating single life in Dublin. In this opening episode, musician Frank discovers his ex-girlfriend Ian has a new man who happens to be an expert in mixed martial arts. In an effort to impress her, decides to try his luck fighting in the cage. He then gets a gig singing at her grandmother's wake, despite having not written a new song or performed in years. You never see an on-beat comedy advertised, do you? No, I know. The Guardian letters page, you will be unsurprised to find, has letters that say things like, forget Corbynism and give Starmer a chance. Shirley Williams leaves a void in the centre-left. And Prince Philip was a champion of design, written by Roland Hill, Contravision Limited's chairman. In clarifications and corrections, which always are in place in The Guardian, they write an article about COVID vaccination says Israel and Chile have made great progress, but as the latter edges back to new normal, the former has been plunged back into lockdown. The outcomes are the other way round. Chile is back in lockdown and Israel is moving towards pre-pandemic life. Another correction, due to a pre-production area, the film Palm Springs was given a 3-star review when it should have been 4. Oh dear, that's not going to go down well. Slinkermeyer agree. Starmer has already had numerous chances. In the obits, Bernie Madoff, financier who conned investors around the world out of billions of dollars through a massive Ponzi scheme, and King Goodwill Zwelithini, traditional Zulu leader with political clout in the new South Africa. So yeah, there you go. In the sport, Borussia Dortmund 1, Man City 2. Foden Thunderbolt settles City's nerves, but Liverpool rue missed chances and crash out in a 0-0 draw with Real Madrid. Real Madrid win 3-1 on aggregate. Man City won 4-2 on aggregate versus Borussia. Palm Springs was really good. I really enjoyed it. I do actually solidly recommend. Slinkermeyer, A+ doggo content today. Right, give me your scores for The Guardian. For me, it's a boring minus 10, I guess. Conrad Wolfie, God, I don't want City to win everything. Boring mercenary team funded by a shit country. Yeah, this is my problem. So, I'm a Norwich City supporter. Norwich are likely to go up again this season, and they're very likely to go down again at the end of next season. And that drives me crazy. It's just, he shouldn't, it's just really annoying. Studying Fango, they're going to try a no masks outside policy here, the fools. We have a no masks outside policy here, though. Industrial Pet, 0. Good animal content, not totally infuriating. Yeah, Wolves out of 10 from Teo writes. Slinkermeyer, +5 for the doggos, -69 for Starmer bum looking. Seems like a fair score. 3 for Dogs and Wolves from Mark Canosis. Wolves fans should be banned. Villa forever, says Conrad Wolfie. Okay. Mark Canosis, I guess he made off with those people's money, but in the end, the Grim Reaper made off with his soul. Good pun action there. Right, okay, we're going to move on to the Times, and we will end with the Daily Mail today. It's a 3-paper day today, but tomorrow will be a magazine special with Empire and Monocle up for review, as well as the usual papers. Okay, the Times. Top of the Times. It's Barbie Wars. How to thrill with a grill. Stuff about barbecuing. Try the new Times Puzzles app for free. I wish it was all puzzles and no news. A picture of the royal family, of Prince Philip and the Queen with lots of their grandchildren. The grandchild with from Meghan and Harry not present has been released. Guess who took that picture? Why? It was Kate Middleton. The Duchess of Cambridge. All part of her anti-propaganda campaign against the Sussexes, which seems to be going very well. Main story, 6-hour airport waits for returning holidaymakers. Who has suggested that will happen? Why? None other than the independent voice that is the Chief Solutions Officer at Heathrow Airport. Red Tick Seed, holy shit, Prince Philip died. When did that happen? Love it. Comrade Wolfie, teaching a bit later tomorrow, so you should be able to watch the game. Cool. The bit still lives. I love that the bit continues. Long may the bit continue. The other story on the front page, civil service staff ordered to reveal all second jobs. I'm sure that'll fix it. On page 3, they've got a scoop of genius melts MasterChef. Nando's manager has won this year's competition with a remarkable dessert. He did a reimagined lemon tart. Just give me a normal lemon tart. Terry Wright's doing Empire tomorrow. I have so many thoughts. Yeah, Empire tomorrow. There it is. It's a cool cover, I think. But yes, I'm not breaking the cover on it till I do it on the show. So my reaction to it will be immediate. Comrade Wolfie, anyone whose job includes solutions in it should be fired out of a cannon into the sun or dropped into a volcano. I agree. I think that would be a good solution. Boris Johnson has said that people should confront litterbugs. What's this? Have a go, bin heroes. Empire usually do cool covers. They do. They've got a good habit of that. I used to, when I worked at Q, we shared an office with Empire, and that was one of the few good bits about it. PM Aid wants Chris Martin to headline climate summit. Coldplay's Chris Martin could be the surprise star at the COP26 climate summit this year if Boris Johnson's chief of staff gets his way. Dan Rosenfield has repeatedly pushed for the singer to perform at the UN climate change meeting in Glasgow in November, according to the Spectator magazine. The pair were contemporaries as students at University College London. Yet, aides have tried to push back on the idea of Martin headlining COP26 amid fears that celebrities getting in for a star-studded event so soon after the pandemic could backfire. Fucking just get a grip. Clean up for the Queen all over again, yeah. Here's a really nice picture of some horses eating hay on a snowy field. Nick Candy, the gratuitously rich real estate tycoon, king of the arsehole landlords, has a flat that he has been renting out for 500 grand a month. It's now up for sale. Jesus. Tory MPs turn on Cameron's tasteless lobbying for Greensill. It's not that it's corrupt, it's just that it's tasteless. We prefer Waitrose brand grifting here. Also, concerns after number 10 chief linked to advisory firm. Boris Johnson's deputy chief of staff is facing accusations of a potential conflict of interest over her part ownership of a company that advises governments, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain and Kazakhstan. Baroness Finn owns 35% of a company set up by Lord Maud, a former cabinet officer, which advises foreign governments about economic and public sector reform. Oh, it's corrupt all the way down. Yeah, jetting into a climate change event. Exactly, Slinkermeyer. Mick Jagger has said he gave up on his £1 million autobiography for a simple reason. He hated reliving his life. Some quite cool pictures of the Jag man there. Brewers furious at nanny state plan to put calorie count on beer. As if anyone would give a fuck if that happened. No uniform at rule spares Harry's blushes. Is that right? Or is it the fact that the Queen really doesn't want to have to argue with Prince Andrew about his desperate desire to dress up like little Lord Admiral? There's some spin claiming that the Duke of Edinburgh had a dinner party that helped repair relations with Ghana. Pigeon fanciers to launch a 650-bird feathered fly past in honour of the Duke of Edinburgh. Real story. They make a big deal of a story about a benefits claimant who was overpaid by £100,000 in an HMRC bungle. They do this to make it to continue the feeling that benefit claimants get an easy ride. It's farcical. Farcical to bring that up when there are many, many, many more errors that end up with people dying because they didn't have benefits. Conrad Wolfie, Mummy, if I can't be an Admiral, then no one can. Throws Sam's toys out of the nonce pram, Prince Andrew. Yep. Making vaccines mandatory for care staff could hit recruitment. No shit. We'll use jabs that deliver, says EU boss. Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission president, has said Europe must focus on vaccines that have proven their worth in a thinly veiled rebuke to the makers of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. This stuff continues to be pathetic. Denmark has ditched the AstraZeneca vaccine. Good afternoon, Ged Station. Good to see you. They found a pottery fragment on the Sinai Peninsula that suggests the earliest evidence that the alphabet was developed by Canaanite miners on the Sinai Peninsula about 1800 BC, borrowing from hieroglyphics. It was known to have been used in the Levant from about 1300 BC and to have spread around the Mediterranean, developing into, among others, the Hebrew, Arabic, Greek, and Latin alphabets. However, a 500-year gap in the records between the earliest examples in the Sinai and Egypt and the first securely dated examples in the southern Levant has long puzzled archaeologists. Some scholars assume that the alphabet was brought into what is now Israel by administrators during a period of Egyptian domination in the 14th and 13th centuries. Archaeologists in Austria and Egypt, however, said their new discovery, an inscribed potsherd dating from about 1450 BC, suggests that the alphabet spread not as a result of Egyptian conquest, but much earlier and through interactions linked to trade and cultural exchange. It's pretty cool. Slinker the fact that they're called benefits, not social security, says it all. Agreed on that too. Leather jacket scam faller for David Aronovich says government's revolving door is out of control. Man, it's a shock to me that this man is so easily scammed when he's so surprised by government corruption. Elsewhere, James Marriott writes a column headline, Twitter's culture warriors aren't true contrarians. I'm not going to go into detail on that here, but if you read the newsletter today, available to read for free at brokenbottleboy.substack.com, you will be able to read all about why I particularly despise James Marriott's column. One part that particularly drove me near insane was that he once again used David Aronovich's quote slur on Professor Priyamvada Gopal, where Aronovich called her Torquemada of the New Woke Inquisition. A quote that was only re-quoted by David Aronovich last week. British journalists complaining about how people call them idiots on Twitter. How unsurprising. Yeah, and it's worse than that, though. Ian Martin says, Greensill's fantasies lost touch with reality. There was nothing wrong in principle with his proposal to government. The problems came with unrealistic ambition. No, there were things wrong with it in principle. You fucking idiot. Well, how is Ian Martin suddenly an expert in supply chain finance? Just fuck off. Right, in today's birthdays, Professor Benjamin Zephaniah is 63. Happy birthday to him. Manon Antoniazani, Chief Executive and Clerk to the National Assembly for Wales, is 56. Lord Geoffrey Archer, not happy birthday to him. He is 81. Lieutenant General Sir Ben Bathurst, 57. He is the UK military representative to NATO. King Philip of the Belgians is 61. Suzanne Beer, film director of Bird Box, is 61. Sir Kenneth Bloomfield, head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service until 1991, is 90. Sir Martin Broughton, deputy chairman of International Airlines Group until 2014, is 74. Claudia Cardinal, actress Once Upon a Time in the West, amongst other things, 83. Neil Carson, chairman of Oxford Instruments, 64. Ben Clark, rugby player till 1999, 53. Mark Damazan, master of St Peter's College, Oxford, former controller of BBC Radio 4 and BBC Radio 7, is 66. Luke Evans, the actor, is 42. Viglis Finnbogadottir, President of Iceland until 1996. The first woman elected president of a country is 91. Samantha Fox, singer and model, 55. Steve Hare, chief executive of the Sage Software Group, 60. John Lamont, Conservative MP for Ettrick, Roxburgh and Berwickshire, is 45. Bruno Le Maire, French politician, economy and finance minister, 52. Baroness Veronica Linklater of Butterstone, social reform campaigner, 78. Laxman Narasimhan, chief executive, Reckitt Beck is 54. Sir Roderick Newton, the High Court judge, is 63. Jane Owen, UK ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein, is 58. Anthea Redfern, TV hostess of The Generation Game until 1975, is 73. Dame Emma Thompson, the actress and writer, is 62. Carl Turner, Labour MP for Kingston upon Hull East, Shadow Justice Minister, is 50. Major General Nick Vaux, DSO, commander of the 42 Commando during the Falklands conflict, is 85. Emma Watson, the actress, is 31. Marty Wilde, the singer-songwriter, is 82. On this date in 1912, the White Star Liner Titanic struck an iceberg and sank on her maiden voyage with the loss of more than 1,500 lives. And the quote of the day goes to Alfred North Whitehead, mathematician and philosopher, from his book Science and the Modern World, 1925. It requires a very unusual mind to undertake the analysis of the obvious. That's me every day here. The oldest Tom Pump, love the quote from TF today. When people who think they're smart don't understand things, they just agree. Agreed. I'm only halfway through that episode and it is fantastic. Fully recommend subscribing to TF. Tara writes, James Marriott comes out of the factory of centre-right journalists who all look like botched clones of each other. Agreed. Industrial Pet. But I'm thinking of going to the beach and can't possibly read a Substack there. Good callback to a tweet I did yesterday. Industrial Pet have been catching up old trash future. It's wild that their Green Seal thing was a year ago. Now it's in the news again. Yeah, now it's in the news where it hadn't been. Yeah, exactly. As good as well that they've got an FT journalist on on the bonus episode. In the world news, we beat you and we will take power. The Taliban taunt Biden. An SAS soldier buried evidence of war crimes in his garden. Ben Robert Smith has identified himself as subject to the War Crimes Tribunal and inquiry and report. Police are investigating claims that Australia's most decorated living soldier, who is facing an inquiry into alleged war crimes, buried sensitive defence records in his back garden. A report hearing was told yesterday that police were also treating as a priority an allegation that Ben Robert Smith, a former Special Forces soldier who was awarded the Medal for Gallantry and the Victoria Cross, attempted to intimidate a witness. He left the army in 2013 after 3 tours of Afghanistan and denies hiding the files and threatening witnesses to stop them cooperating with a War Crimes Tribunal. The inquiry, which reported in November, found credible evidence that 39 Afghans were murdered by Australian Special Forces. China is the number one threat, claims the Director of National Intelligence in the US. Taliban 10, NATO 0, replay of earlier Taliban 3 USSR game from previous season. Yeah, pretty much, comrade. Hey, SK, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. We're on paper number 2, which is the Times. Still got the mail to go. Site of Caesar's murder and home to feral cats open to tourists. The revered site in Rome where Julius Caesar is said to have been murdered is to reopen to the public after decades of closure, during which its only occupants were hundreds of feral cats. Justice for the feral cats. Here's an incredible picture. A diver and a humpback whale appear to fly over the Indian Ocean in this inverted photograph taken in the waters of Réunion. It's a pretty cool picture. Caesar absolutely deserved to get it, says Comrade Wolfie. Mark Canosis, Australian war crimes case is grim and the stuff it hints at about UK-US troops is worse. Yeah, pretty much. Oscar favourite leaves bitter taste for angry Amazon staff. After its triumphant march through the film awards season, Nomadland will be the clear Oscar frontrunner in 10 days' time. In a turbulent year for Hollywood caused by the pandemic, one rare constant has been the stately progress of Chloe Zhao's film, from winning the top prize at the Venice Film Festival last year to a dominant night at the BAFTAs on Sunday, while winning nearly every award available to it in between. However, one final hurdle could yet prevent the film's coronation at the Academy Awards. On April 25th, a backlash against Nomadland's positive depiction of working conditions in an Amazon warehouse. The Searchlight Pictures film has been hailed as a timely and sensitive look at the plight of America's Modern Nomads. It's loosely adapted from a 2017 non-fiction book, Nomads: Surviving America in the 21st Century, by Jessica Bruder, which features the stories of elderly Americans across the country living out of camper vans and other vehicles while working grueling shift jobs to survive. Critics of the film argue that, unlike the book, it skates over the harsh reality of life in the gig economy, most obviously through its depiction of an Amazon warehouse that provides a lifeline for the lead character Fern, played by Frances McDormand. Tim Shaddix, legal director of the California-based campaign group Warehouse Worker Resource Center, told the Los Angeles Times, "I thought there was a lot about the film that was very beautiful, but it left more than a bitter taste in my mouth." He cited a 2019 study that found the injury rate at Amazon warehouses was more than double the industry average. "I felt like the portrayal of all of the work in the film, but particularly the Amazon work, paints a very misleading picture of what our economy is like." The workers Bruder met included Linda May, then 64, who was a seasonal worker at Camper Force, Amazon's jobs campaign for enthusiastic RVers, or owners of recreational vehicles, which temporarily employs thousands of retirees every Christmas season. While working at one of the warehouses, she experienced dizziness that left her in hospital and also sustained a repetitive strain injury from using a scanner gun. She also broke a rib working as a campground host in California. Charlene Swanky, 72, cracked 3 ribs hosting at a campground in the Rocky Mountains. Zhao's filmmaking technique involves the use of non-actors playing characters developed from their own experiences, so both May and Swanky feature prominently in Nomadland. Their injuries are not depicted. Andre Woodson, a spokesman for Amazon, said it was proud of its Camper Force campaign, emphasizes health and safety, and that hundreds of workers return after year after year to take up Camper Force jobs again. McDormand told The Hollywood Reporter last year, "Working at the Amazon fulfillment center is hard work, but it pays a wage." Jesus Christ. Ponzi mastermind Madoff dies in prison. Is there coverage of that? It's a Boom Time as a podcast hit profit. Audio Boom revealed yesterday that it made its first underlying profit, James Dean writes. It also reported record quarterly revenue. The AIM-listed podcast distributor unveiled a adjusted profit before interest and other charges of $30,000 compared with a $500,000 a quarter loss earlier. Audio Boom provides podcasts to 25 million listeners and makes money from advertising. It has partnerships with Spotify and Apple Music, and is backed by the Candy Brothers, the London property developers. In a trading update, Audio Boom said the average global downloads had climbed to 87.1 million in the 3-month period from 63.4 million in the first quarter. Whoopie-doo. The thing about the British gas strike, an important story. Where does the Times put it? On page 39 in the business, with a tiny column here, and the headline, "Gas engineers are sacked in contract route." No, they were sacked. You don't need to put it in quotation. In the obits, they give an obituary to Bernie Madoff. Peter Ainsworth, gregarious banker turned conservative whip and shadow minister who was an early champion of environmental causes, right? And Joe Rayburn, quick-witted theatrical agent who discovered Sean Connery, represented Donald Pleasance, and dined with Marilyn Monroe, has died. She was 88. Finally, Moshe Nertman, businessman and Holocaust survivor who was brought to Windermere, has died, age 95. They're trying to sell you cotton shirts in pale pink stripe, duck egg, ivory, navy green, navy white, and cherry. And in the sport, Foden seals Pep's return to last 4. Borussia Dortmund 1, Man City 2, Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0. New court plan for Wimbledon, and it's the wrong colour seats. Manchester United has changed the colour of the tarpaulin that covers the seats at Old Trafford after their players complained they could not see each other clearly during matches. In an episode that invoked memories of United's famous halftime kit change at Southampton 25 years ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said the team's disappointing home form this season was partly due to problems with poor visibility. All 4 of United's league defeats this season came at Old Trafford, and it transpires that players asked for the 12 paulin at the bottom of the stands to be changed from red to black as it was too similar to their home kit. If a wage is the best that can be said, shudders. Fulfillment centre is a creepy term. Agreed. It pays a wage, not a good wage. A decent wage or an appropriate wage, but a wage. Agree with it. Bush did Caesar stabbing, says Red Tickseed. Hundreds of feral cats is my new way to describe my gender, says Tara Wrights. Great. Okay, give me your scores for the Times. Comrade Wolfie, poor visibility equals because they couldn't see the goal because they're shit. Scores for the Times while I do the roll call. I am, of course, a Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy and also on TikTok at Useless Conquest, where I will soon be doing TikToks about the British media. In the mod squad today, SK the Crusader, who I am sure will tell you about what he is doing on stream this week. And SK, this has come, so we must plan our review stream. I am ready to do that. Well, I need to read it first, but still. In the chat today, Aiton, Broxlaw, Carbot14, XYZ, Commander Root, Community for Small Streamers, Comrade Wolfie, Everybody Loves Raymondo, Extra More, Ged Station, Glycolic Moment, Mark Canosis, Mike J. Hall 1, Red Tick Seed, Salinka Maya, Studying Fangirl, Teo Wrights, Twitch Grow With Us, Yoldi Stomach Pump, and Yuan. Thank you all for being here today. Mark Canosis minus 90 for the Times because it's James Marriott face amuses him. Minus 69 from Salinka Maya. Minus 69 from Industrial Pet. Combination of dog shit and being upheld as respectable irks me. Agreed. Comrade Wolfie, banal out of 10. Terror Rights, minus 50, just a bit shit. Mark Canosis, my Sebastian Payne, James Marriott erotic fanfic has got people asking a lot of questions. Already answered by the Geneva Convention. Oh, love it. Right, finally, we come to the Daily Mail. Front page of the Daily Mail has that same royal picture that has been pushed out for propagandistic purposes and does not feature the only grandchildren missing are the grandchildren grandchild produced by Harry and Meghan. There's another one on the way. Main story, PM lobbied by Saudi prince. Boris acted on personal plea from Mohammed bin Salman after Axe 300 million football club deal. Now it may be back on. That's the Newcastle deal. Oh, corruption. Red Tick Seed, holy shit, Prince Philip died. When did that happen? Who knows? I know. Inside, how 300 million deal is back in play. Message from Mohammed bin Salman to PM. We expect the English Premier League to reconsider and correct its wrong conclusion. PM to number 10 private office. One for Sir Edward. That's Sir Edward Lister, his number 10 chief strategist. From Lister to PM, I'm on the case. I will investigate. PM's letter to fans. There must be clarity on the reasons consortium decided to withdraw bid. Oh, and it involves Mike Ashley. Corrupt. More pictures of the royal family from Kate, Duchess of Cambridge's personal album. Could it be that they're collaborating with the Daily Mail because they know that if they don't, the Mail will mention some redacted about Prince William? Who's to say? Well, I'm saying that's why. Now, none of them will be in uniform, exclusive to spare Harry and Andrew's blushes. Centuries-old royal funeral tradition to be broken. Richard Kay says, how has it come to this? And what on earth would Philip think? We don't know, because he's dead. Comrade Wolfie. A mix of opinions on the Saudi deal for Newcastle. Mike, Big Mugs Ashley is a dipshit, and they need rid of him, but I don't know if the Saudis are better. They are definitely not. Salinka Maya, it's easier to just assume corruption is happening continuously now, right? Yeah, exactly. Mark Canosis, don't know why I hate Prince George the most out of the entire royal family. Well, dressing him like that, to be honest, to me is child abuse. Revealed, Philip's close family from Germany isolating in Ascot for funeral. Yes. Bernard, hereditary Prince of Baden. Prince Donatus, Landgrave of Hesse. And Prince Philip of Hohenlohe-Langenburg. They all look exactly how you think they'd look. Second Mandarin caught up in lobbying furore. Sir John Manzioni kept his £100,000 directorship with drinks giant S.A.B. Miller after he was appointed chief executive of the civil service. Oh, corruption, it's everywhere. So what did the man who ran Britain know about Greensill? As a former top civil servant to 4 PMs gets dragged into the lobbying scandal. Yeah, this is Lord Jeremy Hayward, who is dead and will be the one that they blame everything on in the coming inquiry. Just wonderful. 50 years after their incomparable TV show began, Christopher Stevens celebrates the genius of the two Ronnies and argues they make today's left-wing comedians look like foul-mouthed toddlers. Oh, fuck off. Stephen Glover says, 20 years on, we're pulling out of Afghanistan. So did 456 British heroes die in vain? What's the assumption that they're all heroes for, Stephen? And similarly, we told you it would be in vain when they went in. 20 years ago, you motherfucker. Scandal is such a meaningless word these days. None of note won't face any consequences. Agreed. Prince George definitely needs to play rugby against Boris Johnson. Jesus. Oxford and Exeter top of rape culture university list. Who's done this list? The Everyone's Invited website, which publishes accounts of sexual abuse and harassment, released the data yesterday to highlight the problem on campuses. A leading grammar school has also apologised over claims that pupils had been sexually harassed and experienced a culture of toxic and ubiquitous rape culture. That is the Colchester Royal Grammar School in Essex. 456 isn't that many soldiers. It is right, it's 456 too many. Agreed. They all died for nothing. I agreed. Putin ready to roll. Ukraine's terror of invasion and even nuclear threat as Russian forces mass on border and start live firing drill. Typical boy zone diagram from the Mail. They love that kind of stuff. Spelling it out. Rachel's baby news. Rachel Riley has form when it comes to cryptic announcements on the countdown board. This puzzle may not be hard to decipher. The Channel 4 game show star used the second word jumble to say she's expecting a second child, just as she did to announce her first pregnancy. 35-year-old shared a photo of herself and the letters F-I-T-T-R-I-L-E-Y on the board on the an anagram for fertility while cradling her baby bump yesterday. Oh, Jesus. Dear Diana, I cannot imagine anyone in their right mind leaving you for Camilla. Fondislav Parr. Philip was determined to save Charles and Diana's marriage. Giles Brandreth reveals the Duke's tough but tender letters that made her laugh and cry. Jesus Christ. Bath time is bedraggled. Owl is restored to glory. Bad Feather Day. The owl is a sight for sore eyes after his bubble bath, but then he's all dry and you see him properly. Love the owl. Saved by Playing Dead is a report on a graduate who survived Fishmonker's terror attack. She was stabbed in the neck, but she pretended to be dead and she survived. Would you fathom it? Navy recruit 23 set sail 77 years after granddads fought at sea on opposite sides. Right, one of his granddads was in a U-boat, the other was in the Royal Navy. Yeah, it happens. That deranged looking flew foul is amazing. Fraudster who fleeced the A-list is how they report on Bernie Madoff. A prison officer had tattoo of robber's cell number on thigh. She's jailed after flirting with high security inmate. A woman prison officer was jailed yesterday after developing a close relationship with an armed robber and having his cell number tattooed on her upper thigh. Scarlett Aldrich, 22, whose mother and stepfather are both police officers, had received training about the obvious dangers of friendship with inmates. But other officers noticed her being very flirty with the inmate at maximum security Full Sutton Prison near York. She smuggled in a mobile phone and SIM card for him and also sent him a saucy photograph of the cell number tattoo. She was caught out after the prisoner was found with the phone and SIM card during an intimate search. A police examination of Aldrich revealed a tattoo on her body. She admitted charges of misconduct in public office and bringing prohibited items into jail, sentencing her to 10 months in jail at Hull Crown Court. Judge John Thackeray QC said, "You're allowed yourself to be taken in by him. You put the safety and security of the prison in jeopardy." Aldrich of Sowerbury near Thirst, North Yorkshire, was 20 when the illicit relationship developed, which never became sexual, it said. Fellow officers became suspicious in August 2019 when Aldrich and the inmate, named only as Jones, were seen chatting together for up to 2 hours in the prison workshop. Oh, Jesus. Power dynamic there is wild. Feels like a gross abuse of power that's being framed in a strange way. Mark Kenosis, screws are proper fucking weirdos. Yeah. Taken in by him is, again, very gross framing. Agreed. Susanna Proctor defending underlined there was no sexual activity between the two, and Aldrich had no contact with Jones in his cell. Miss Proctor added she understands that this man was not interested in her at all and was just using her to attain a mobile phone. They do they name the prison? Yeah. Hang on, no, do they? No, they don't, but it was at Hull Crown Court, and she's of Sowerby near Thirsk, North Yorkshire, so I think we could probably assume it's probably Hull, maybe, or certainly in one of the prisons in North Yorkshire. God-fearing pupils do better, even if they're not a faith school, claims a new study. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit study. HMP Preston? Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm sure I'll be able to... I'm sure if I looked into it, I could find out quite easily, but they certainly don't name it in this story. Okay, April 15th, 2021. On this day, April 15th, 1948, the Daily Mail wrote, "The death penalty for murder is to go. In a free vote, the House of Commons last night suspended it for 5 years. The voting was 245 to 222. Violent cheering swept Attend's house when the result was announced. Hanging was resumed until the mid-1960s. 1983, the Daily Mail wrote on this day, "The biggest crowd of the tour yesterday in Melbourne sealed Princess Diana's conquest of Australia. More than 200,000 people lined the streets of the Victorian capital to welcome the royal couple. Last night, they attended a Royal Command performance at the new Melbourne Concert Hall. Prince William, who has learned to talk down under, is making his own thank you to the Australian people." Weird. Happy birthday to Emma Watson, 31, and to Cressida Cowell, 55, the UK's Children's Laureate and daughter of the second Viscount Blakenham, is the author of How to Train Your Dragon books, which have sold 11 million copies. Born on this day in 1912, Kim Il-sung, the founding father and eternal president of North Korea, is the grandfather of the leader Kim Jong-un. His birthday is celebrated as the Day of the Sun public holiday with big military parades at which soldiers chant, "We will die for you." Boris Johnson would love that. Elizabeth Montgomery, born in 1933, also born on this day in 1933. The US actress made her name as housewife and witch Samantha Stevens in the 60s sitcom Bewitched. Montgomery, whose 4 husbands included Oscar-winning actor Gig Young, counted Elvis Presley among her admirers. On April 15th in 1755, Samuel Johnson's A Dictionary of the English Language was first published. In 1990, Swedish film star Greta Garbo died aged 84. Quote of the day comes from Dick Armey, the American economist. Dick Armey. 3 groups spend other people's money: children, thieves, and politicians. All 3 need parental supervision. Right. Joke of the day. Why don't composers use email? They write notes. Dick Armey. Yes, Dick Armey. Spelled A-R-M-E-Y. It's HMP Full Sutton. Okay. Yeah, it's a serious jail. Okay. Yeah, Daily Mail has been mad since hanging was banned. Very angry since. Dick Armey, you got to be kidding me. No, Dick Armey. Yeah, let's just keep saying it. Dick Armey. He's called Dick Armey because his penis has an elbow. The Roman wonder beneath a Scarborough housing estate. Find could be most important for a decade. Developers who had been hoping to build a housing estate found someone had got there first. The Romans. Remains of a 1,700-year-old stately home. Stately home. That's not how you would describe a Roman building. It's very ahistorical. Were unearthed as work was due to start on the site near Scarborough, North Yorkshire. The area was occupied by the Romans around the 4th century AD to deter Saxon and German raids. They finally left Britain in AD 410. Developer Keep Moat Homes, Jesus. Employed experts carry out a dig at the site in Eastfield in case it contained any Roman or Iron Age artifacts. The archaeologists discovered a large-scale complex believed to be a high-status luxury Roman villa or religious sanctuary. It covers an area the size of 2 tennis courts and includes a circular central room. In Female Magazine, have you had the jab yet? No, not that one. They're talking about Botox. For some women, it's not the manicures and blow dries they've missed. It's Botox and fillers. 3 devotees joyfully describe wiping the past year from their faces. Just an ad for Botox. I mean, normalise getting older. That's what I say, but there you go. But the Daily Mail likes to push misogyny at every turn. Mark Kenosis, I guess stately home is a fair analogy for a large analogue for a large villa. In a way, but just say large villa. In the debate, as Dominic West wins back his wife after those Lily James pictures, should you stay with a husband who strays? Yes, says Helena Frith Powell. No, says Lucy Cavendish. Cheating is a drug. The thrill is just too alluring. It's not crack, though, is it? Mark Kenosis, normalise getting older, but on the other hand, normalise getting injected with infected with botulism. Comrade Wolfie, everything the Romans did was lame and wrong. In this stream, we stand the Greeks, apart from SK, who's... Okay, moving on. Today's historic 4-page pull-out. Philip, UK needs bomb. Jesus Christ. Prince Philip entered the nuclear debate yesterday by backing the bomb. Of course he did. That's a reproduction of a front page from April 27th, 1983, when you could buy the Daily Mail for just 18 pence. Other stories they have in this reproduction, one of him killing things. Yes, I shoot, but I still love animals. He just preferred them dead. And quick-witted Prince leave TV Wogan floundering. Right. And the ad they reproduced today is save while you still can. Call merchant now. Coal Light, the leading smokeless coal. And on the back page, Simon Heffer in praise of Philip, the anti-pope of political correctness. Jenny Murray writes, why is it still a daughter's job to care for mum and dad? It's not. Iram Ramzan writes, he was a famous playboy in his prime, so what shameless hypocrisy that Imran Khan is now telling women to cover up. Hypocrite's gonna hypocrite. Mark Kenosis, I agree, Britain definitely needs the bomb in the John Betjeman sense. I shed £3 and 214 pounds on a 7-day diet of Boris's super posh nosh, writes Claudia Connell. After the PM had £12,500 of Dalesford food delivered to number 10, is the gourmet grub behind his weight loss? Oh, maybe? I don't know. Why are you advertising? It's just an advert. My son was expelled for sharing a girl's nude photo. He'll live with the guilt forever, writes someone anonymously. Okay. Without thinking, he'd sent the photo to a friend. Well, he should have been thinking, shouldn't he? Petal Power, Laura Ashley blooms again. Jesus Christ. 12 ways to turn your bedroom into a sleep sanctuary. There's a really disgusting virtual date today between Janice, 49, and Dominic, 58. He writes... under the question, did sparks fly? No, I can't contemplate a relationship with someone who doesn't work out. Women of Janice's age need to start weight training and doing regular aerobic exercise. She wants to be with a man young enough to be her child, but that won't help when it comes to osteoporosis and the menopause. He gave her 1 out of 10, and of course, he's a stunner himself. Mark Kenosis, maybe he should live with the guilt, maybe he should process and grow with it, talking about the boy who shared the intimate photo of a girl. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy's Dominic, 56, very weird man. He's been single for a year. He has a 20-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter. Poor daughter. Current role is a trainer and gym owner. He would like to meet a solvent woman who looks after herself physically. In the TV, pick of the day, Escape to the Farm with Kate Humble. They also recommending Frank of Ireland. And also talk about Dragon's Den and Pandemic 2020. Film choices, My Husband's Evil Twin, 2:15, Channel 5. No prizes for guessing where this TV movie thriller is headed. When her perfect husband suddenly starts behaving strangely, Melanie suspects that his twin has moved in and is pretended to be him. But what exactly is the twin's sinister plan? And where is her real husband? Nice. TV reviews, Bent Copper's Crossing the Line, Line of Duty, the Line of Duty is Crossing the Line of Duty, is 4 stars. Great British Sewing Bee also gets 4 stars. In the cartoons, Garfield has been clawing the couch. In Chloe and Co., Chloe and her friend are stood up drinking and talking about men. And in Fred Bassett is hanging out with Jock in the park and being extremely, extremely pure. In the straight-to-the-point letters, Diane Wilson of Leon the Solent says, "It looks as if Boris's haircut was done with a knife and fork." Jeff Palmer says, "Who cut Boris Johnson's hair? Alan Titchmarsh?" H. May Miller writes, "Please get Boris a new hairdresser and some extra strong hairspray." BP Monks writes, "Now Boris has had his hair cut, can someone buy him a comb?" Chris Wayne writes, "I'm feeling lightheaded after my first haircut since last year." Is this all going to be haircut discourse? Who knows? Paul Kelly writes, "A statue of Prince Philip in full regalia and on his favourite horse should be fitting for the empty plinth in Trafalgar Square." Oh, fuck off. Pam Fenn says, "How lovely if Meghan named her baby daughter Philippa." Fuck off. W.J. Carpenter says, "Outs and batters instead of wickets and batsmen. Is it cricket or baseball?" It's just cricket where they've changed the name slightly for one game. Get a grip. Peter Belcher writes, I wasn't sure whether the label made in China was referring to the home COVID test or the virus." And Andrew Reville says, "With universities no longer," and this is him misspelling, "correcting spelling and punctuation for fear of being elitist, the bar will soon be low enough for me to get a place." Fuck off. Fuck all the way off. And once you fucked off, keep on fucking off. Today's recipe is roast peppers with jammy eggs. Jammy eggs. Sounds vomitous. Polly1787 says, "The Mail will consistently hold Boris's hair to a higher standard than what exists beneath it." Agreed. Comrade Wolfie, if they put a statue of Phil in Trafalgar, I'll come back to trash it and eat the 50-year sentence than hanging. Red Tick Seed, hashtag Bassett and the Beanos, hashtag Save Fred. Yes. Solidarity with Fred. Red Tick Seed, a solvent woman. He wants to meet a woman that is usually a liquid, but also can be a solid, a gas, or a supercritical fluid. That's how I understand it, yeah. Slinker sometimes I'd love to have the confidence of a mediocre white man like that dickhead. I know, imagine. Yeah, he was, as Comrade Wolfie says, physically and spiritually bald. Other things they're trying to sell you today. Manuka honey, as promoted by Dr. Hilary Jones of Good Morning Britain. Coin alert. Own the official Royal Mail coin cover issued to mark Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's landmark 95th birthday. Yours for the low price of £20. Coins. Still trying to sell you cruises. Still trying to get you to sell your cash for gold. More cruises. And in the sport, that's my boy. Pep hails Saviour Foden as City end Euro jinx. But it's no go for Mo as Liverpool crash out. That was a Daily Mail. For me, it's a minus 69.69. The double negative nice. Coins cruise, says Mark Canotis. Coins, says SK Crusader. Coins, says Slinkermeyer. Coin alert, says Comrade Wolfie. Coins, says Red Tick Seed. And Brendan Coins. Brendan, says Red Tick Seed. Bald Man out of 10 for the Daily Mail from Comrade Wolfie. Minus 99 from Mark Kenosis. Coins, says Glade Station. Loads of coins. Slinkermeyer minus triple negative. Nice for the Daily Mail. Thank you for joining me today on this episode 2 of season 4 of The Paper Thing. Return tomorrow for not only the unveiling of the new backdrop for season 4, when we will emerge from this void into a new disturbing reality, but also newspaper magazine special with a review of Empire magazine. This month's cover star, Tom Hiddleston in Loki style. Right, so see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Will there be coins in the backdrop? You'll just have to wait and see. PayPal.me/conquest of the useless, as ever, if you are up for helping support the show and also the growing coin habit. Yes, so I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Also, if you've not read today's newsletter, do. And, of course, make sure that you check out what streams SK has coming up by heading to his Twitter to check out that. Right, see you all tomorrow, everyone. Thank you, as ever, for your excellent contributions in the chat. And you know where you can find me. Just grab me on Twitter if I can help in any way. Cheers. Tonight's stream from SK is the Northern Independence Strip Party stream. Excellent. I will be tuning in for that. Cheers all. See you tomorrow.